Okay, so this box right here was my father's, and it was actually his dad's before him. It's an old rifle case. And so for my Thanksgiving address assignment, I have used a wood burning kit that I went and picked up the other day, and spent 3 hours coming up with my drawings for this, and about 4 hours burning them in bit by bit. So this is my family and my ancestors. So my Bubba, my granny, so my dad's mom and my mom's mom, my father and my brother, and my tata, my mom's dad. And this is just like my depiction of what our descendants, like long ago, people would look like. That's what I wanted it to look like. So next I have Mother Earth. So I drew the circle for Earth, and she loves us. I love the Earth. And each of these is just her little hands coming out, and that's me imagining like the ozone layer around the Earth protecting us and keeping us safe. So that's why I chose this. Here is a water drop to represent water. Each of the circles is all 12 of them is because I used to go swimming all the time as a kid, and I got to level 12 in the swimming lessons. I got the inspiration for the little water drop from a card game called Magic the Gathering. Here is my drawing of a fish. It is similar to a stone I bought at a field trip when I was a very young child. Originally it was a whale, but I decided to make it into a fish. And I lost the rock years ago, but I think it was at Sault Ste. Marie among the Hurons when I bought it. And I held on to that stone for years and years until I moved away to Kingston when I was 20. Here, for insects, I drew a little firefly, or a lightning bug, I called him as a little boy. And that's what I like to anticipate. They look like a little bit like a grasshopper, so they can run and jump. And these little balls here are like the lights. Grass. I always used to, for me this is like a crabgrass, because I always used to just like pick the crabgrass and try to make that whistling noise. My dad and my older brothers could do it. I was never able to do it, but I always liked to play with it, and I just started eating grass almost like a cow. Then I have roots, and the reason I have so many branches off is because all of our family roots go in so many different directions. And all of our ancestors and my ancestors are spread out throughout North America and in Europe. Here, for medicines, I have a snake that I burnt in, and I tried to make it look like a sweetgrass, kind of like a sweetgrass wreath, almost. And then I have music notes, because for me, I find music very healing. And then here I have the little cross that the paramedics would have, and I have A for Alan and K for Christopher. That would be my father and my brother, because they have both passed away. Here, for food, I have a pitchfork and a scythe of some sort that I drew. And then down here at the bottom is a little fire over a little pot, and we're boiling sap, because we used to make maple syrup as children as well with our father. And now when I flip it over... Berries. So I chose a strawberry because from what I've learned in class, it's the leader of the berries. Ode, I think that's how I pronounce it. And also growing up, me, my brother, and my mom would always pick strawberries every single year. It's how I knew summer was coming close or already happening. And we always used to make our own homemade strawberry jams. Next, for animals, I have bear. I got a bear paw drawn. Bear has always been my favorite animal. I had a dog named Bear. My nickname is Bear. I have 2 tattoos that are bears. I have a bear claw that was given to me during a ceremony over the summer that I keep in the car. Bear claw. Actually, it would be this one that I have. For trees, I chose the maple leaf that I turned into a tree. Again, because the tree is the leader of, the maple is the leader of the trees, but also because I grew up in a sugar bush. That's where we would always make our syrup from. Now we have birds. This drawing I got inspired by the big statue downtown Barrie, Ontario, because growing up I always thought it was a giant bird, but it's a wind spirit. So I did my own rendition of what I think it could look like if it was flying. Here, I drew, this is for the 4 different winds, like north, east, south, and west. And I have it set up because in my mind it's like a windmill, because my dad called us Pennsylvania Dutch. And I know that the Dutch are known for windmills. And when I was in Denmark, I went and visited many windmills, and I just loved watching them just spin and spin and spin. Here, I have my version of the Thunder Beings, Grandpa Thunder Beings. And so it's like a person kind of made out of thunder. And the reason I have this is because at my dad's house, we had 2 barns when I was growing up. And in the same year, each of them was struck by lightning and they burnt down. Me and my dad kind of thought it was because after a while we stopped having any animals and livestock on the property, and since the barns were kind of just doing nothing, I guess it was the right time for them to go. Now here I have the sun, my version of the sun. So these are just because it gives us heat and it just radiates light into our world, into our lives. And with this, it's because whenever we're dying, I've always been told to follow the light. And so when you're looking at this, it's kind of like you're being drawn into it. Now over here, I have the moon. So I have a full moon, 2 crescent moons, and 2 half moons. And I included them with the stars. So I have the Big Dipper, Orion's Belt, and the Little Dipper. The reason I included these together is because growing up, again, when I was at my dad's house, I would just spend hours sitting outside at night watching the stars and watching the moon. And also, these are the only constellations I actually know and I actually look for. And I know that the stars are what Grandmother Moon wears as jewelry, so I try to depict them around her, so like earrings and a necklace. Next, I have the 4 sacred beings. And so the reason there's 4 hands is because my dad had 4 children, and he always would tell me that we were the most sacred thing to him, and he loved us more than anything else. So I have a K for my brother Christopher, who has passed, A for Adam, S for Scott, and an E for myself. And the last drawing I have done on this is right here. And it's kind of like a butterfly, and this is for giving thanks to the Creator. And I chose to put it on the front of the box because it's got a lock here. So none of us really know what the Creator looks like. And so with the lock, we have to kind of find a way to unlock our own vision of him. So I have him as a kind of like a butterfly here, because the Creator is always everywhere and he's always floating around, and the Creator is everything. And yes, that is my Thanksgiving address.